Hello everyone and welcome to the W12 Sprint Series. My name is Dan Papels and today I'm taking you through everything that the W12 Sprint Series stands for. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride together with me. First things first, the W12 Sprint Series was founded in 2021 by professional racing driver Mirko Bortolotti, who won the DTM Championship in 2024. He came up with the concept aiming to combine the fun factor of driving unknown cars and tracks with a real-life race approach. This means having the ability to adapt to new situations quickly by having limited practice time, and more importantly, to provide the exact same preparation time to each competitor. The W12 Sprint Series takes place in the off-season, most likely on Mondays, consisting of 2 racing servers on each racing day. With more than 16 different car classes and more than 50 tracks, from the official draw, the uncertainty and variability makes this series unique. Also, the racing formats themselves are different. In Server 1, in fact, the action starts off with a 30-minute practice session before heading into a single lap one-shot qualifying. After that, the field will be split in 2 halves for the following 2 heat races, with the top 5 finishers advancing directly to the main race. A final consolation race for the remaining drivers will define the remainder of the starting grid, with all drivers competing against each other for the big points in the main race with a mandatory pit stop. Once everyone is complete, all drivers meet up in Discord to do a live draw for the next car and track combination for the second survey, which will feature a more straightforward format consisting of a practice session and the almighty single lap qualifying, followed by an 18-minute main race. The event is rounded up with a top 18 reverse grid race of the same duration. Also, in this case, a pit stop is mandatory in both races, which triggers another important aspect of the W12 Sprint Series, and that is strategy. Since a couple of seasons ago, we also introduced the Silver Cup class, a classification dedicated to less experienced drivers who score points towards both classifications. Eligible silver drivers can easily be spotted on the live stream given their 3-digit race number and silver color badge. Last but not least, two more things worth mentioning. All car setups in the W12 Sprint Series are fixed, which means equal conditions for all drivers and all races will feature standing starts. Combined with an extremely competitive field of drivers, all ingredients are given to guarantee action. Don't miss it on our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction with me. I'm Dan Peebles, your W12 Series commentator, and I'll see you on track. Series season number 8, week number 6. It's flown by already, 2 more weeks to go, including this one. And oh boy, we've got a great combo for you today as well. My name is Dan Peebles. I'll be guiding you through all the action on my own again tonight, but I'll be supported sometimes during the practice sessions by my producer, as always, Tiemen Klaus. So thank you, Tiemen, once again for being here and sticking with us. Let's go now, though, to the draw to see what we decided for server number 1.
Let's draw the first car, which will be the Formula 4 car with a single lap qualifying. The second car will be the Ferrari Challenge. And the third car will be the Radical. So now let's draw the tracks. The first one is Hockenheim. Second one is Indianapolis. And let's see, the third one is the Bend. So now let's draw the final combination. Which will be the Radical SR8, which is the older one, which is the free content one. And at Indianapolis Road. So combination is the Radical SR8 with single lap qualifying at Indianapolis.
Well, as you can see, Radical SR8 at the Indianapolis Road Course. And oh boy, last week we had exciting combinations as well. But after last week, we of course have a new championship stand-ins in both silver and the overalls. Let's go and look at the overalls now then, where we see that Rafael Renova is just 5 points ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Can he do it? Just 2 more weeks to go to be the first different champion in the W12 Sprint Series, and it's not Mirko Bortolotti. Rafael Renova is trying to do that feat. Well then, Mirko Bortolotti is following him 5 points behind, and if he has a good week today, he could well put himself clear at the top. Marius Zug is in P3 in the stand-ins on 188 points, 100 points back of the top 2. Shows really that they have been in a league of their own this season in terms of consistency and speed. Maximilian Maia in P4 ahead of Martin Stadtmann in 5th. Then 6th is Andrea Frasinetti on 116 points. Just 12 points behind that, Winston Eckel in P7. In P8 is Hendrik Augustin on 97 points. 9th is Callum Lux on 96 points. And 10th is Hugo Zasse on 92 points. That's the overall standings. As close as ever, 5 points at the top there. It's not as close in the silvers. In the silvers, it's a bigger gap for Michiel Haverens at the top. The P&D Racing Team driver finds himself on 101 points ahead of Bernhard Kiberger, who of course wasn't there last week, so that will be one of his drop rounds. He finds himself in second on 65 points, then 63 points behind that is Mario Truma. He was really good last week. Patrick Dangel in fourth on 51 points. 45 points for Christian Ablasa, 44 points for Lucas Baza. 43 points for Timo Pitts, Florian Stadtmann on 28, Jan Lins in 9th on 26 points, and Ben Buhnagel on 21 points in 10th. Those are the silver standings after week 5. And like I said, just 2 more weeks to go. And what a track this is. Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In the Radical SR8, which is of course the older iteration of the Radical cars. In the reversion, the Radical SR10s, in my opinion, a lot less fun to drive. These cars just feel more alive, the SR8s, and they just sound much better in my opinion. But they are a little slower than the Radical SR10s. This road course though, 3.8 kilometers long and 21 degrees track temperature at the minute. They're at an altitude of 221 meters, none like the altitude we've seen at Autodromo of Mexico. Couldn't remember the full name there. But yeah, the drivers will have grip in the downforce cars tonight, and they will work. Marius Zug finds himself in P1 at the moment. Just 5 more minutes left in this practice session. I think that's a good time to bring in Timon into the commentary booth as well. Timon, very good evening. Hope you're doing well. 2 more weeks to go in the W12 Sprint Series. It's getting to the crunch point.
Yeah, it's getting exciting, especially good evening, Dan, by the way. Considering the small gap there is in the overall class between Rafael Renault and Mirko Bortolotti. As you said, it could be an upset. This championship will be the first time that it's not won by Mirko Bortolotti. But yeah, still 3 rounds to go. No, 2 rounds to go. So anything can happen, but looking at the standings at the moment, now I don't see R2. Bortolotti is in 8th, and where is our friend Rafael Renault at the moment? He is still in P20, but he hasn't set a lap yet. So yeah, we just have to wait and see how that goes in his practice. With 4 minutes to go. What do you think about this car? Have you driven it before, Dan?
This car, yes, I have actually, and I have seen them in real life as well, which is, I think, quite rare to see. You don't see these cars very often at the track, although they are real track cars. That's what they're meant to be. And I have seen them in Sweden. In Sweden, it's a very popular class. You also have the Radical SR3, the Radical SR3X, the Radical SR3XX. All different cars. I mean, in terms of chassis, they're mainly the same. Especially what's under it, that's different. But they are majestic to see and to hear in real life as well. My God, you hear the difference so clearly between a Radical SR10 and a Radical SR8. Radical SR8, significantly more expensive to run though. But I have not driven it myself, this car, sadly. Or well, I have, but for a very small amount of time. Thus, I do not really have an opinion about driving it myself. However, I have driven the SR10 a lot, and I can tell you, compared to that, this car is so much more fun to drive. It just feels more alive. It's lighter, it's nimbler. However, the power that the V6 produces in the SR10 is just so much more significant compared to this V8. The technology has come such a long way since this car got produced in the 90s. That's, well, the engine power we have now completely outdoes the Radical SR8 as Winston Eckel finds the grass, and that's what will happen to you in the race. Or does he manage to avoid every wall? That's incredible. Managed to avoid just about every wall he could find. However, yeah, like I said, this car is significantly more fun to drive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Dan. I really enjoyed my time in iRacing with SRA. Driven it a lot.
I miss it.
And also in officials. It's been a legacy car for a while now. The SR10 just, yeah, we should get
Bortolotti finds himself a P11 2/10 off Marius Zug, but it is extremely close. It's what, 7/10 down to P20 Winston Eckel. My God, this is a close field. This would be good for qualifying. Now, I didn't exactly pay attention, by the way, during the drop. Is this a 1 lap qualifying or a 3 lap average qualifying? I think it's a 1 lap, right? There you go. Now, this is quite a tricky track, let's be honest. The last corner is just about flat in many, many cars, except for Formula 1. That's easy flat. But it's just about flat in these cars. And thus, I think you also have to be brave in corners like these, because you have to trust the downforce. It's something that you have to get used to if you've never driven a downforce car before. It can go a lot quicker through the corner than you think it can. And the quicker you go through the corner, the more grip you have. There is, of course, a point where you're going too quick. But there is, of course, the quicker you go, the more grip it will provide you with. So to strike that balance is going to be tricky for these drivers tonight.
Yeah, it's I say pretty spin prone, especially I don't know how this car handles in big chicane. First right between the first and the second sector. It's pretty yeah, well known for jumping cars and having oversteer on exit. Sometimes unexplainable. So I don't know how this goes with this car. We'll see in the race, because there probably will be a close pack racing in the first few laps where they have to probably avoid the one in front. Oh, as we see, might have Statman crash in the oval.
Practice has come to an end.
Yep.
Hendrik Steurer won't be able to complete his lap. He'll get broken off just before the line. No, he won't. Just after it. There you go. What does a commentator know, right? Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course, best known for the Indy 500. We won't be using that track tonight. And we'll be using the pit lane in the opposite direction. Turning right. The Americans hate it. Winston Eckel. Here he is. It's quite an unorthodox pit lane as well. I don't exactly know which version of the track we're using. Look at that. Winston Eckel warming up the front tires by just completely overturning them and creating understeer throughout the corner. Now, most important is, will the rear tires keep up? A 1 lap qualifying, 1 lap to warm up your tires, 1 lap to set your time. And I think this is a good time to also go on board with Winston Eckel for a lap. Look at this, warming up the tires is done like this. He'll probably overturn the fronts as well here. Yeah, he is. All right, he's now going to set up for his flying lap. A good exit out of here. On board with Winston Eckel around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There you go. That's a lap on board with Winston Eckel. Where does it put him? It's not a great lap. Winston Eckel 1.2 seconds down on Mirko Bortolotti, who has found the lap in qualifying. That's quicker than Rafael Renhofer. It's been a while. Rafael Renhofer has been quick in previous qualifying sessions, and so have others. Winston Eckel, though, who finds himself in the top 10 overall. Not a great qualifying for him. Only finds himself in 12th. But that is a position from which you can do something in the heat races. Ben Buhnagel, oh, the silver driver all over the place, over the chicane. Doesn't give him any oversteer in the 911 numbered car. If we would drive a Porsche, that number would be lovely on it. Tonight, though, we are driving the Radical SR8s. And he looks all over the place, the car for him at the moment. Significantly less compliant than what he wants to. Maybe the tire warm-up on the first lap hadn't been great. And he decides that this is it. He's probably got an off track from what we saw earlier on. So he will take the best run onto the start-finish straight he can. That's no lap for Ben Buhnagel. Andrea Frasinetti, one of the last ones to put in his lap time. It'll be tight for him as well. He needs to be quick to the line. Has he timed this to perfection? He's got 25 seconds left from here on. This will be tight for Andrea Frasinetti, and he knows it. He's hustling that car. Will he make it? Just 12 seconds left from here. Andrea Frasinetti. To the line he goes, he will make it. Just 5 more seconds left. He's timed it to perfection. What does he go to? He goes to P14. Andrea Frasinetti timed that one to perfection. But it's Mirko Bortolotti on pole position for the heat races. Rafa Renhofer is going to get maximum P2 in the feature race. Mirko Bortolotti starts on pole position for the first heat. Callum Lux alongside him. Niels Langeveld's the best Dutch driver on the grid. Hugo Robin 4th, ahead of Marius Soek in 5th. Hugo Zasse in P6 and Winston Eckel in P7. Anton AB in 8th. Timo Pitts in 9th. Christian Ables at 10th. Florian Stadtmann in 11th. Philippe Ugre in P12. P13 Hendrik Steura. P14 Ivan Ferrari. 15 Maximilian Paul. Christoph Hatos in P16, and Dave Jurema finds himself in P17. Right, then here's the result from qualifying. Just 67 thousandths of a second was the difference between P1 and P2. Mirko Bortolotti and Rafael Renhofer in that qualifying session. Callum Lux, 2/10 behind them. All right, then, let's go to the start. Right-hand side of the screen, Mirko Bortolotti. Left-hand side of the screen is Callum Lux. And it's a good start from Mirko Bortolotti. In that car that looks like a Red Bull can. Into turn 1 now. It's quite a long run down into turn 1 here. Misses the apex slightly, but takes more speed in. Thus is cleared of any dive box behind. Callum Lux finds himself in second. It's a good start from everyone. Hugo Rob has made up one position compared to Niels Langeveld. Hugo Zasse in 5th, out of Winston Eckel in 6th. Just one more position for Winston Eckel to put himself straight into the feature race as well. And Marius Soek in 7th, out of Anton AB in 8th. Philippe Ugre, best silver driver for now. Callum Lux. For him, it's important to just stick with Mirko Bortolotti. Already it looks like he's having a little more understeer. He's fighting a little more with the car compared to Mirko Bortolotti. To the right hand, there we go. Miss the curb. If you hit the curb in this car, you're gonna end up wide. Don't cut too much of that one. Mirko Bortolotti through the last corner has lost quite significantly to Callum Lux in that sector. We're going to see what the slipstream's going to do in this session as well. It's about 2 tenths back. You need to be closer, I fear. He's going to have to look for a move here. Marco Bortolotti doesn't need to defend that one. Callum Lux also knows that if he starts P3 for the feature race, he's in a great position. So he doesn't need to risk anything here in this session. Oh, that's contact there. And who was that with? Oh, round he goes, Hugo Rob. Oh, and he decides that that was enough then. Yeah, Silver Driver, who I said was leading, is not leading anymore. And he won't be for a while. That's him done. Oh, bumpers flying through the air. This was that incident. And there, the engine cover decides to go, but further up front, the front nose also decides that, well, it's going to there, and no further part than Christoph Hatos drives straight through it. Marco Bortolotti though still leading the race ahead of Callum Lux. No need to push any harder than he's doing at the minute. It's enough as it is. Winston Eckel straight through into the feature race as we speak. Anton Abe, the rookie driver, is looking to take that from him. Florian Stadtmann, leading Silver Driver for now, E9. Did go into the consolation race. We have seen in the last few weeks a couple of Silver Drivers go straight through to the feature race. Michiel Haverens, most notably one of those. Marius Soep makes a move for P3. Niels Langeveld gets the motor down to P4. This is losing both of them time to Winston Eckel. Back up the inside goes Niels Langeveld, and he's back up into third. Marius Soep is still alongside him on the outside there. He's going to force it tight for the right-hander. Here he comes. Nice and wide entry for Marius Soep. He's going to look for the cutback. He's not going to get it though. Niels Langeveld gets back over to the right to open up this one as much as possible. Can't quite, not the best exit for Niels Langeveld. Winston Eckel is going to get a double slipstream here. What can he do from a bit further back? I have a feeling he might just be too far back. He sells him a dummy though, does Marius Soep. Up the inside he goes. And Marius Soep might well have P1 here into turn 1. Niels Langeveld is going to have to try and carry it all the way round. The next one is through the left. He gets forced out wide. Well done, Marius Soep. This opens up the opportunity though for Winston Eckel, but he doesn't want to throw away a P5 either. Onto that bit behind also sees chances because of that. That was the exit onto the second straight of the two. A good slipstream again for Winston Eckel. He's going to make Niels Langeveld look into his mirrors. The two Dutchmen fighting it out for 4th and 5th. But all of that happened because Marius Soep and Niels Langeveld started fighting. The gap before they started fighting was quite significant to the drivers ahead. Or the drivers behind, excuse me. Hendrik Steurer has overtaken Timo Pitts, who's still leading the silver class in P11. Florian Stadtmann, our previous silver leader. Oh, I think that might be due to the helmet that he's bottling P1. I am sorry for that pun. It was intended. Philippe Augret, he was leading before that. And he's gone round again after he's come out of the pit lane. Here's Christoph Hatos without that nose on the car. It looks quite funny without. Oh, and around he goes. No nose, no engine cover. He's doing it the money-saving way. Couple of dummies there, couple of weavings on the straight. Zasser just turns in like the other driver's not there, it looked like. Oh, big jump over the curbs. No, Winston Eckel The bottle job last week in Mexico continues at Indianapolis. And off he goes. Was into a top 5 position and he's down in the 13th. Winston Eckel might be the Lando Norris of the W12 Sprint Series. Mirko Bortolotti comes through though to take pole position for the feature. And Callum Lux follows him behind in P2. That'll give him P3 for the feature race. I have to say, this track has provided us with great action again. A great track to race at. Plenty of overtaking opportunities. What's happened to Winston Eckel? This was after that spin probably. Driving around slowly. Oh! Nothing he could do there, I can tell you that much. Left rear has decided to part ways, including the front, including the rear wing. Go. Another look at the bottle job. Oh, just turns in too early. Makes that corner way too tight. Into the wall hard. Oh, Maxi Powell got into the top 5. Right, result then from that race to look at who's through to the feature race. Remember, that's the top 5 of both heat races, and that in this case is Mirko Bortolotti who wins the race out of Callum Lux in 2nd. Marius Soek in 3rd, Niels Langeveld in 4th, and Maximilian Paul also through to the feature race in 5th. Anton Abe just missing out together with Ivan Ferrari. We'll see them back in the Constellation race later on. Right then, to the grid for the second feature race we go. Rafa Renhoff starting from pole there alongside Michiel Haverens, the silver driver, doing a great job in qualifying once again. Maximilian Maya in 3rd, ahead of Henrik Augustin in 4th, Lucas Baza in 5th, Bernard Geberga 6th, Andrea Frasinetti in 7th, Mario Truma in 8th. We don't have much time, we're green flag already. Michiel Haverens on the right-hand side, not having the best of starts. It's from the 2nd row where the best start comes from. And that is Maximilian Maya. He's going to carry it all the way around the outside and he's going to get P1 in the turn 1. Michiel Haverens just has to stay into the top 5 this time. Bernard Geberga is following him through behind. He has the opportunity to go up into P5 here. And he has done so. Bernard Geberga puts himself into the feature race immediately too. He does lose that position out to Henrik Augustin, but he is on the cusp of making it through. Michiel Haverens warming up the tires behind. Maximilian Maya losing the lead to Rafael Renhoff. He's going to put himself on the front row next to his championship rival Mirko Bortolotti this way. Remember, pole position has the outside for turn 1 if you have a good start in P2. P1 is left with no option but to carry it around the outside. On board with Maximilian Maya with Michiel Haverens behind. And I have to say, he has been impressive this season. Oh, getting very, very close to the wall on the outside. But you have to keep that corner flat and take the most amount of speed through as you can. Further in the back, Leon Blum, I think he had a slowdown somewhere and thus had to let off throttle. What was that Leon Blum getting through? Here we go, another look at that start. Around the outside, Chanter, what happened to him? Oh, 3-1 in the turn 1 and around he goes on the inside. Chanter, best known in the Porsche Cup car. Very quick in that car, but struggles in most of the others. Stefano Pellegrino, he's off the track as well. Another one to fall victim to the chicane. And this was the overtaking maneuver for P1 from Rafael Renhoff. And he's remained in P1 ever since then. He's looking to do the same as Mirko Bortolotti did in the earlier heat. drive away as far as you can. And as much as you can for the feature race as well. Take as many of those learnings into the feature race. Martin Stadtmann goes wide. It allows Mario Trummer. It was Mario Trummer who went wide. Martin Stadtmann takes advantage of it. There he goes. 2 more positions to go for him to make it through into the top 5. Bernhard Geberger in front of him. If you're Bernhard Geberger, you still have hope if something happens ahead. Take away whatever you can from that. The gap is substantial though, if you want to make it on pace. Almost 2 seconds the gap from Hendrik Augustin to Bernhard Geberger. René Rösler behind. He's going to go for the attack though. On Lucas Baza, up the inside he goes. And there's 2 more cars who want to follow through. My God. Absolute send from both cars behind. Patrick Dangel and René Rösler. Oh no, contact! Patrick Dangel is round and René Rösler gets caught up in it. Alright, I will not mention anything about that. Oh, that car's crabbing as well though. Rafa Renhofer still leading the race. Still in one of the best positions. Put himself onto the front row for the feature race. Michiel Haverens also still in the top 5. He's doing well. Last lap of the race, if he can remain there, he is going to start P6 in the feature race. And with that would surely take a big step towards securing the silver championship. Zinetti. Through he goes. P4 for him now. Hendrik Augustin is the driver behind him and on the cusp of the top 5. Martin Stadtmann has now gotten up into 6th, but the gap is 4 seconds. Something has to happen in front. And if they're smart here, they're not going to make that mistake. Renhofer round the final corner is going to come through to take the victory in the heat race and put himself on the front row alongside Mirko Bortolotti. Maximilian Mayer comes through to take a good 2nd place, puts himself onto the 2nd row. Martin Stadtmann did get through on Bernhard Geberger. Was left with just too much work to do after he did so. Doing some practice start on the bank part of the circuit. I don't know if that is the best way to practice those. We are still waiting, I think, for 2 drivers, Stefano Pellegrino, Patrick Dangel, to come through to finish their laps. To the line they come. Now their own little battle at the end. We can go to the results. There we go. Rafa Renova through to the feature race together with Maximilian Maya and Michiel Haverens on pole position for the silvers there. Andrea Frasinetti and Hendrik Augustin, the other drivers, to make it through. Martin Stadtman got past Bernard Geberg in the end, but is left with too much work to do. We'll see him back in the consolation race. That consolation race, though, let's go to the grid for that now. No, we can't, because we're starting already. Well, here we go then. Anton Abe starting on pole. Martin Stadtman alongside him. It's a good start for Anton Abe. Martin Stadtman looking up the inside. Anton Abe says not quite, not this time. Who's that coming through? Is that even Ferrari coming through? It's Bernard Geberger up the inside. We're going 4 wide in the turn 1. Bernard Geberger knows it. And he gets forced out to the outside for turn 2. And thus loses out. But Bernard Geberger almost overtook 3 into turn 1. Bernard Geberger makes contact and around he goes. The whole field coming up. Stay where you are. Hope the rest misses you. They do so far. And that is everyone through. My God. How did everyone miss him there? Christian Ablasa trying to avoid him. Did he put himself too tight for the chicane? No, he didn't. What's going to happen to Christian Ablasa then? Two cars kissing in turn 2. That's Hugo Zasse. I think together with René Reusler. Up the inside goes Jan Linds. Go on, Jan! Oh no, he's going to be caught up in this, isn't he? No, he's going to have to go off track to avoid it. That good start he had, everything taken away from it. Stadtman is going to swing around the outside of Anton Abe, not quite. Now Hendrik Steurer closes up as well. The chicane we go once again. René Reusler, what happened to him? Yep, round he goes. Can he save it? No, he can't. Touches the wall and touches the wall again. Good spin turn though. And he gets going again. Hendrik Steurer would put himself 13th on the grid. Hendrik Steurer with a slow down to serve. That's why he's losing the time. Was close for the lead there, 3 wide into the right hand. They know that will never work, and it didn't work this time. Review Mascar got a bit too excited there. Into turn 1, was this the moment we missed? Anton Abe, is he going to lose the lead? Yeah, keeps it in front of Martin Stadtman, and Anton Abe is doing extremely well here. With that slipstream on the main straight to defend from charging Martin Stadtman. He's been under pressure for quite a while now. Snatch it away from both Martin Stadtman and Anton Abe if the opportunity does arise. once again is going to have a go at this. It's going to force Anton Abe much tighter than he has done so far. Anton Abe, has he overshot the corner? No, he hasn't. That looked like he was hurtling down the turn one with no hope of making it. But he did. The inside this time from Martin Stamann. It's an audacious move. Does it pay off though? We're going to go side by side into the chicane. This has never in the past worked before. And it doesn't this time round for Anton Abe either. It was an audacious move into the right-hander from Martin Stamann. It has paid off though. Leon Blum also got past Anton Abe. Last lap of the race, white flag was out. Martin Stamann gave it a go. I bet you he's been thinking about that move for the previous 4 laps. Martin Stamann up into first and puts himself as close to the top 10 as he can. Just 2 more corners now to hang on to this. Leon Blum could take both of them. Off we go, yes. Martin Stamann makes it through. Leon Blum finishes in second, ahead of Anton Abe in third, Hendrik Steurer fourth, and Chanter in fifth. The grid has been set now for the feature race. Martin Stamann has done as much as he could to put himself as close to the top 10 as possible after missing out of a top 5 finish in the heat race by just 1 spot. Leon Blum was patient, and that patience paid off in the end as well. Anton Abe, sad to lose out, and Jan Lintz, my previous co-commentator, who's back driving luckily, finishes at P21. Well, and here are the stand-ins for that consolation race. Martin Stamann wins ahead of Leon Blum in second, Anton Abe in third, Hendrik Steurer in P4, and Chanter with a good comeback drive after that first race. He finds himself in P5, but still left with quite a bit of work to do to get into the top 10 in the feature race. Into a 2-minute warm-up now. Or, well, 2-minute cool-down, depending on who you are. And then we'll go into the long-awaited feature race. Hugh Havrens. We're with him for a second. What can he do? Once again, starting on pole position for the Silvers. If he has a good result, he might even be able to clinch the Silver Championship today. And that has never been done before. Alright then, to the grid for the main race, the feature race. Mirko Bortolotti will start on pole position alongside his championship rival, Rafael Renova. Callum Lux finds himself in third ahead of Maximilian Maier on the second row. Marius Soek in fifth ahead of Michiel Haverens in sixth. Niels Langeveld in seventh. Andrea Frasinetti in eighth. Maximilian Paul in ninth ahead of Hendrik Augustin in P10. P11 for Maarten Stadman. Leon Bloem in P12. P13 for Anton Abe, Hendrik Steur 14th, Chanter 15th, Lucas Baza 16th, Timo Pitt 17th and Winston Eckel in P18. Here we go though, 5 red lights are on for the feature race. Right hand side of screen Mirko Bortolotti, left hand side of screen Rafael Renova. Mirko Bortolotti needs a good result to retain his championship that he's held for the previous 7 seasons. It's a great start from Mirko Bortolotti. It's also a good one for Rafael Renova. Will Mirko Bortolotti leave the inside open? Yes, he will. He's got confidence that Rafael Renova won't even be close enough to go for it. Will he regret that? No, he won't. He knows his qualities down at the turn 1. Brakes late, stays ahead of Rafael Renova. And through he goes. Mirko Bortolotti retaining the lead off the start line, and that's all he needed to do to have a good chance here at winning today. Maximilian Maier in third, ahead of Marius Soek in fourth. Winston Eckel in 13th. Coming through, up 5 positions, and he might be able to take even more now. That was Anton Abe in front of him with a dive of a century. Oh, we almost went 4 wide into turn 5. Winston Eckel up at the 12th though, 5.3 seconds back of the lead already. That's the damage you get already just from starting that far back. Niels Langeveld though has to defend from Andrea Frasinetti round the outside. No room for Andrea Frasinetti there. Frasinetti gets put into the pressure of Maarten Stadman, who after putting himself as close to the top 10 as possible has gotten into the top 10 and now finds himself in P8. Also up 3. Mirko Bortolotti keeping the lead of Rafael Renova at the front though. 18 minutes of racing were in front of us. 2 of that have almost gone already. Mario Troma, he was quick in the heat races, but so was Philippe Gray in front of him. Michiel Haverens, after starting P6, is down to 13th. What's happened to him? Michiel Haverens is dropping down the order like a stone in a pond. He is still the leader of the silver class though, but only just. In the overalls, that is still Mirko Bortolotti, and he doesn't need anything special. He's not that far back. If he has a good first server, he puts the pressure back on Rafael Renova, which is unfolding as we speak. But Rafael Renova has a different idea about that. Just 2.5 tenths back. The slipstream onto the straight starts working now, but it might just be a little too late. He's too far back now. He won't try anything here. If he's that close in the last lap though, I have a feeling he might try something. So Mirko Bortolotti will have to be wary of that. They move to the fence. Oh my god! Florian Stadman. Oh my goodness me. I don't know if we can see that one again, but from on board. Here we go, Florian Stadman. Way too far back to even think about a move. Has to defend from behind, decides not to brake for turn 1. Oh my, that is just... that might even be flat out. That might even be a stuck throttle or something like it. Rafael Renova is keeping the pressure on Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti looks like a cork in the bottle here. Maximilian Maier is also keeping up with him. Slowly but surely they are opening up that gap to him though. Mirko Bortolotti just slowly bringing in these tires. And taking care of him to have the longevity. That might not pay off in terms of track position now, though. Rafa Renova can't get close enough. That was 2/10 back. The slipstream here really doesn't do a whole lot. Could be within 3/10 apparently to even think about a move into turn 1. Philippe Augrin. Oh no, round he goes. And that was into turn 3. The exit of it. You have to get far over to the grass, but not that far that you go into it. And that's what happened to Philippe Augrin. Was once again doing well in the silver class and has to start all over again. We almost have a 50-50 split here in the top 20 between overall drivers and silver drivers. But a clear split. P1 to P11 I was going to say was overalls. Not anymore. Michiel Havens has gotten past Leon Blum. He's still the silver leader in that class and also the silver championship leader. Rafael Renova, 3/10 back now, and that's not enough to think about a move here. It's too far back, but it is enough to think about fuel saving and overtaking Mirko Bortolotti in the pit stop if he can. Maximilian Meyer is seeing it all unfold in front of him. And if something might happen on the last lap, he's there to pick up the pieces, but so is Marius Zug. Oh, Andrea Frasinetti, the next to fall victim to the chicane. Timon mentioned in the practice, and it is proving to be quite a difficult point of the circuit. If you don't get it absolutely right, you are basically becoming an Airbus 320. Oh, Maximilian Paul, I mean... Yeah, I don't think there's much Maximilian Paul could have done there. Nope. Car up the inside. Just basically drives through him after he spins. There was contact which resulted in that spin, but that was, well, interesting to say the least. Maximilian Meyer, P3 for him, and Rafael Renova doesn't really have to look in his mirrors. I think he's happy with Maximilian Meyer behind him. He won't do much. Marius Zug, he might think about a move on Maximilian Meyer here. The body language of that car just looks a little more aggressive than it does from all the others. Callum Lux. He's taking a safe distance from all of the happenings ahead. He's teammates, I think, with Maximilian Meyer. Yeah, it's the Jens Brothers competition team. So if he could help Maximilian Meyer, maybe by pressurizing Marius Zug, that will be a great help for him. Bortolotti is slowly but surely starting to stretch his legs. Gap out to 0.5 of a second. Who knows, this might just be a comfortable margin though for Rafa Renova to do some fuel saving. Although Mirko Bortolotti, the longer this race goes on, does seem to be able to use the tires a little more than Rafa Renova is. That's what I mentioned in the beginning of this race. Mirko Bortolotti just slowly bringing in those tires, taking care of them. Jan Lins up into P15. He's up 16 positions. So is Stefano Pellegrino. Bernhard Geberger up 13. Best driver who has made their pit stop already is Andrea Frasinetti. He of course had to after the contact with Maximilian Paul. Bortolotti's under some serious pressure here from Rafael Renova. This is the closest he's been so far. Mirko Bortolotti now feeling the need to defend. Rafael Renova sees an opportunity up the inside. He doesn't quite take it. Mirko Bortolotti's going to force him to the outside. He gets forced tight though by Rafael Renova. He breaks late. He's going to have to carry it all the way around the outside. That'll give him the inside for turn 2. Mirko Bortolotti's going to lose the lead to Rafael Renova. Yes, he is. That could be a crucial moment in this race. Gets back up the inside for turn 3. Turn 4 is now his prey. Into the chicane we go side by side. Rafael Renova not about to pull out of this one. Mirko Bortolotti forced over the curb. Just about manages to, well, keep that there without flying off the track. Rafael Renova back up the inside now for the left-hander of 7. And now manages to pull ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. That's a great switchback though. Rafael Renova gets done by the switchback of Mirko Bortolotti. Now has to defend the inside. Great racecraft by Mirko Bortolotti, showing why he's the champion. And here comes Maximilian Maya now to take advantage of a slowdown Rafael Renova. This could have huge implications for the championship. Maya looking to go for the move for the lead as well. But Rafael Renova gets back round the outside. And now they all pull into pit lane. Just to get track position for that crucial pit stop. Braking as late as possible. That was tight with speeding for Rafael Renova as well. He didn't get a black flag, so it was on the edge. And he did manage to gain some time on Mirko Bortolotti there as well. He was able to fuel save, but how much will he be able to save with it? They'll be behind each other in the pit lane as well. This is the slowest drag race of the season we'll see in pit lane. They'll all be behind each other. They come to a stop. Mirko Bortolotti braking as late as he could there to come to a stop. Rafael Renova, who's going to get going first? Here comes Marius Souk. He might just do both of them. No, he doesn't. Mirko Bortolotti stays in the lead though, but Rafael Renova, Marius Souk will get a drag race off pit limiter. Rafael Renova stays ahead. Mirko Bortolotti pitting from the lead of the race, staying in the lead of the race, and coming out with a bigger gap than he had at the beginning of it all. This is classic from Mirko Bortolotti, as we know him from previous seasons. Great pace in the race, able to fuel save at the same time. And in the pit stop phase, managing everything to perfection, and with that, gaining a significant amount of time. A second might not look like much, but for Rafael Renova to make up a second in this race will be a mega job. Michiel Haverens has also pitted and has come out in the lead of the silver class by quite a margin. 5 seconds back to Mario Truma now. Gap already down to 6/10 at the front though. Rafael Renova is showing that he's got pace here. Timo Pitts, this is for P15, this is for second place in the silvers. Oh no, for the podium in the silvers, but it's even a Ferrari he's fighting with. That's for an overall place. Timo Pitts won't be too worried about that. Two-tenths the gap between the two. René Reusler has had an up and down race so far. René Reusler, P24, behind Jan Linsen, 23rd. Go on, Jan. Here he is, Chilean driver. Driving, of course, with one hand, keep that in mind. Winston Eckel, also an up and down server for him. On the outside, Yes, round the outside, Winston Eckel, take a bow. Great move by the Dutchman. Don't find the grass, no he doesn't. On the verge of the top 10 here, Winston Eckel. We're getting to the crunch point in this race. Rafa Renova back down to 4/10 the gap between him and Mirko Bortolotti, Andrea Frasinetti. This is the battle for 7th between him and Martin Stadtmann. The gap ahead of that is about a second. And no, 2 seconds to Niels Langeveld. Up the inside goes Andrea Frasinetti. What a move! Martin Stadtmann did not expect him there at all. Loses a lot of momentum because of it. Henrik Stöger now looking for the move as well off the banking. Doesn't look to the inside. Martin Stadtmann doesn't look for the move into turn 1, but this is the battle that I wanted to see at the front. 5/10s between Mirko Bortolotti and Rafa Renova. And with Mirko Bortolotti behind in points, this is a crucial moment in the championship with just 3 more servers to go after this. 1 tonight and 2 more next week. Knows that if he could overtake Mirko Bortolotti here, it would be a big mental hit for the Italian. Just preparing the exit a bit better there, Mirko Bortolotti. But Rafa Renova just genuinely seems to have more pace. He's closed that gap of about a second, down to 2/10. And that slipstream now playing into effect as well. Rafa Renova moving to the outside, can't brake late. Knows that this will be the last lap of the race, or it's close to. I don't know actually quite yet. It was close to the line. I've just heard that this is the white flag. Last chance that then for Rafael Renova coming out of the chicane. He's 2.5 back. Isn't enough to go for a move. Mirko Bortolotti feeling the need to go defensive. Rafael Renova pulls toward the outside, will brake late. But Mirko Bortolotti has it covered. I don't see many overtaking opportunities anymore for Rafael Renova now. And just generally, I think he's too far back. 2/10 is too far to think for a clean move here on Mirko Bortolotti. He'll have to wait, maybe a drag race to the line. He'll prepare the exit better than Mirko Bortolotti does. Bit of oversteer on the exit as well. The slipstream will work for Rafael Renova, but the line will come up too quick, I fear. Rafael Renova, no chance. Mirko Bortolotti wins. Rafael Renova finishes second, just 72 thousandths of a second behind Mirko Bortolotti. But that might be a very, very crucial 72 thousandths of a second. Gaps don't win championships, positions do. And he knows it. He knows that that was crucial, Mirko Bortolotti. 1.7 seconds back was Marius Zug and Maximilian Maya. 6 seconds back of that. He lost a lot after that pit stop phase as well. Winner in the silvers is Michiel Haverens. He takes another step to that silver championship. Mirko Bortolotti wins ahead of Rafael Renhofer. And it turns out actually to be closer than the 72,000s I said before. Rafael Renhofer just 700ths of a second back. Or Mirko Bortolotti might be, like I mentioned, the most crucial 700ths of the season. Mario Soek in third, ahead of Maximilian Maier in fourth. Callum Lux in fifth, Niels Langeveld in sixth, Andrea Frasinetti seventh, Maarten Stadman in eighth, Hendrik Sturger in ninth, and the winner in the silver class, your championship leader, Michiel Haverens. Leon Bloem in 11th, ahead of Winston Eckel in 12th, Anton Abe in 13th, Ivan Ferrari 14th, Ben Bunengel 15th overall, second in the silvers, Timo Pitts 16th overall, and third in the silvers. Bernhard Geberger narrowly missing out on the silver podium in P17, Christian Ablese in 18th, Stefano Pellegrino in 19th, and Patrick Dangel in P20, the rookie. P21 then for Mario Truma, Jan Lins in P22, René Reusler P23, Philippe Ungren in P24, Christophe Hartels in P25. Then Hendrik Augustin in P26 in the drivers a lap or more behind Maximilian Paul, Lucas Baza, Davy Öma, Florian Stadman, Sean Ter, Hugo Zasse and Hugo Rob. Both Hugos not having the best service so far. Well then, that was it for server number 1 with the Radical SR8s at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll go to the draw and find out what the combination will be for server number 2. I can't wait.
Then I guess I can start with the draw, huh?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Team
Okay,
is ready, so
Perfect. Since we were running the Radical in server 1, the group T is excluded of the draw, so there won't be GTP for this draw, and Indianapolis was also excluded from the track pool. So now let's start with drawing the first cars. And let's see, the first car will be the GT with a single lap qualifying. Then the TCR with a 3-lap average qualifying, or the Cadillac. So now let's draw 3 tracks. The first one is Sonoma. The second one is Sachsenring. And the third one is Indianapolis Motor, but I guess, yeah, let's see.
No, we take it off.
Okay. Shall we then redo it?
We've just done Indianapolis, so
Shall we then
No.
redo it? Okay.
yeah, just redo the last one. We
That's
just
not
need
possible.
one more track.
Let's see. Yeah, then we redo it, I guess.
No, you can. Well, fuck.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's not programmed that.
Can we not select just a final one and you just throw the 3 into a pool?
No, that's not possible.
Yeah, but the first 2 have been selected, so we need to keep them.
Yeah, but that's then we have to.
I mean,
to go to an.
I would say then in
another
that
one.
case, if everybody agrees, we just take Indianapolis out. You just do the draw. If Indianapolis gets drawn, you draw again.
Yeah.
So we keep those 3 and
Yeah, but that's not possible with the app at the moment.
the
So
easiest way to
No,
do
no,
it is
but-
we draw again, we ignore the cars, and we draw 3 new tracks.
but
Right,
if
with
we
this
keep
program.
it like, I don't care. Honestly, for me it's the same. But I would also continue like that. For me, I don't care. We can also start again with the tracks. I don't care.
it's just possible to redo the complete draw again.
No, the full draw, not. We just.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
let's not make it
then-
complicated, guys. Please.
Yeah, but
We have
that's
3
with-
tracks. Who's doing the wheel?
Go for it.
And it will be Bokono. With GTE with a single lap qualifying.
Okay, perfect. Sorry for the mess, guys, but sometimes it happens. Enjoy, have fun. See you next week. No, next week there is no race. The next race will
Hello everyone and welcome to the W12 Sprint Series. My name is Dan Papels and today I'm taking you through everything that the W12 Sprint Series stands for. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride together with me. First things first, the W12 Sprint Series was founded in 2021 by professional racing driver Mirko Bortolotti, who won the DTM Championship in 2024. He came up with the concept aiming to combine the fun factor of driving unknown cars and tracks with a real-life race approach. This means having the ability to adapt to new situations quickly by having limited practice time, and more importantly, to provide the exact same preparation time to each competitor. The W12 Sprint Series takes place in the off-season, most likely on Mondays, consisting of 2 racing servers on each racing day. With more than 16 different car classes and more than 50 tracks forming the official draw, the uncertainty and variability makes this series unique. Also, the racing formats themselves are different. In Server 1, in fact, the action starts off with a 30-minute practice session before heading into a single lap one-shot qualifying. After that, the field will be split in 2 halves for the following 2 heat races, with the top 5 finishers advancing directly to the main race. A final consolation race for the remaining drivers will define the remainder of the starting grid, with all drivers competing against each other for the big points in the main race with a mandatory pit stop. Once Server 1 is complete, all drivers meet up in Discord to do a live draw for the next car and track combination for the second server, which will feature a more straightforward format consisting of a practice session and the almighty single lap qualifying, followed by an 18-minute main race. The event is rounded up with a top 18 reverse grid race of the same duration. Also, in this case, a pit stop is mandatory in both races, which triggers another important aspect of the W12 Sprint Series, and that is strategy. Since a couple of seasons ago, we also introduced the Silver Cup class, a classification dedicated to less experienced drivers who score points towards both classifications. Eligible silver drivers can easily be spotted on the live stream given their 3-digit race number and silver color badge. Last but not least, 2 more things worth mentioning. All car setups in the W12 Sprint Series are fixed, which means equal conditions for all drivers and all races will feature standing starts. Combined with an extremely competitive field of drivers, all ingredients are given to guarantee action. Don't miss it on our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction with me. I'm Dan Papels, your W12 Series commentator, and I'll see you on track.
chasing shadows, fighting battles. I've been on my own for a while, let them say I'm doing better. I've been broken, but now I'm going. I've been on the road of I made it through. It's like I'm chasing the sun, and all my fears are on the run. Can take my freedom, now you can take my freedom. It's like I'm walking on water, and all the waves don't even bother. This is my kingdom, and you can take my freedom. It's like I'm chasing the sun, and all my fears are on the run. Can take my freedom, now you can take my freedom. It's like I'm walking on water, and all the waves don't even bother. This is my kingdom, and you can take my freedom. It's like I'm chasing the sun, and all my fears are on the run. Can take my freedom, now you can take my freedom. It's like I'm walking on water, and all the waves don't even bother. This is my kingdom, and you can take my freedom. It's like I'm chasing the sun, and all my fears are on the run. Can take my freedom, now you can take my freedom. It's like I'm walking on water, and all the waves don't even bother. This is my kingdom, and you can take my freedom.
Yes, we're back with server number 2. And oh boy, was it a good draw. It's the GTEs at Pocono Roast Course. And well, you can see Pocono on the track map right there. It's about 90% oval with 10% infield with a tiny little chicane on the oval for good measure. Loads of slipstreaming today here at the Pocono International Speedway. And oh boy, are we looking forward to it. 4.07 kilometers this track, just a little longer than the Indianapolis road course. But oh boy, is it bumpy, and oh boy, is it quick. The GTEs, cars that I've missed in the W12 Sprint Series. We've driven them before. And I'm so happy to see them back in action. Ooh, this Langeveld decided to tap the wall for good measure. I mean, he is driving a boat on wheels. But I don't know if we can go on board with one of the Porsches, but oh my goodness, they sound good. Ben Buhnagel. Here he is, Marius Zug, maybe the Porsche of choice. Just have a listen on board. Listen to that. That is the sound we are missing at Le Mans these days. Oh boy, do I wish I could have visited in those. I could have visited in those times. They sound awesome, these cars. Sadly, these days we have to do it with the restricted GT4s. Marco Bortolotti, he's driving the Ferrari. As a proper Italian, he couldn't go with a different car, could he? He's putting that Ferrari up in the top 3. Ferrari, not a car of choice though, it seems like today. Stefano Pellegrino, the only other driver in the Ferrari. Andrea Frasinetti and Ivan Ferrari, the other 2 Italians, they are in the BMW. It's quite tight in the infield, especially with a boat of a BMW to drive. I mean, these cars in general as well. I don't know if you've heard the downshifts on this yet. But oh boy, does that sound good. You won't hear much of it on this track. You'll hear mostly upshifts. Let's listen along with Ivan Ferrari. Downshift in turn 1, but my god. But if we can hear them from an off-board shot. Into turn 1. Oh boy. We love it. Impossible to overtake though on the infield. But in these GTEs, slipstream does do the work. With the long straights, the slipstreaming, I'm expecting for there to be a lot of overtaking, especially into the chicane. It is quite a quick chicane though. And side by side through there is going to slow you down significantly. The Corvette. Also a interesting car of choice. Not a lot of drivers have taken that either. Hugo Rob have taken it. Christian Ablasa and Christoph Hatos have taken it. Maximilian Paul has taken that car as well. Stefano Pellegrino. Apparently there's a long story behind the fact that he's driving under the Indian nationality. But don't be fooled, he's not. And then here you go. Michiel Haverens, a man of culture. A man who knows his cars. And a man who I could talk to. The Ford GT. A car that's deep embedded into my heart. This is a car that I saw the first Dutch victory in at Le Mans. In the infield with Michiel Haverens. Oh boy. I love this car. Of course, back then, Jeroen Blekemolen, Dutch driver, was victorious at Le Mans. Back then in the GTE class. Drove that race together with Felipe Fraga, who now is also a very established driver. Maximilian Paul, one of the drivers in the Corvettes. And this car hasn't really lost much of its sound compared to the GT3s we have now. Of course, it's a lot more brutal than it was before. With the noise restrictions. But this is a sound that we know and love and still have to this day. Stratos is also back. I don't know if he was there, to be honest, in the first server, but if he was, we didn't see much of him. I did just get the confirmation though, he was not there in server 1, so good to see him back. A little less compact as it was in the Radical SR8 at Indianapolis. But a lot of slipstream also in play here. If you get a good lap with slipstream, you'll shoot past all the ones that haven't. Winston Eckel, I can tell you for one thing, it's just the sound that he's chosen this car from. Winston Eckel, your average RSR enjoyer. And how can you, really? To be honest, these cars did also just defy the odds of what GT3 cars could do. These were mostly unrestricted. Ultimately, as my producer does mention, the reason that this class died was because of the extreme running cost you had for running one of these cars. And to be honest, I don't know if Mirko has any hands-on experience in the GTEs. Blum. 1:23.479 is the fastest lap so far. I feel this getting closer. We see more and more drivers within a second. Hugo Zasse, Mario Truma, Anton Ambe adding themselves to that pile of drivers who are within a second. No personal improvements on this lap from Leo Blum. And thus, the time stays at a 1:23.475, 1:23.945 though. This time round, just under 2:10 slower. Very consistent with that lap time as well then, Leon Blum. Michiel Havrens, our silver driver, up in P5 in practice, but how many times have we seen him do this? And then get an off-track in qualifying, because it is a one-lap qualifying in the GTEs, which will be done fairly quickly on this track. Drivers do have only 5 minutes though, so they need to get it done quick. Let's hope he can keep up this performance in qualifying, because that would put him in a really good spot for the main race. Rafael Renova, second place for him. Mirko Bortolotti right behind him. Once again, very, very tight between those two. Marius Zug jumps to the top. 123.333. And that is right at the end of practice as well, so that will stand. A couple more practice starts at the end there. That is the checkered flag for practice. Into a one-lap qualifying we go. Well, who do we pick for a lap on board? Marius Zug was the driver in P1 in the practice session. Could be cool to be on board with him. Finished, I think, third in the first server. We'll try and guide you through a lap around this circuit. Well then, that was the last braking zone already. I think, no, it's not. Going to the braking zone for the chicane. I was thinking that that was pretty quick, but... All right, here we go then. Last braking zone that. It's flat out now. Run the top for the most speed off it. These are NASCAR tactics being applied in the GTEs. Marius Zug on board at Pocono on the road course, running it the wrong way round. What does he get up to? 257 kilometers an hour. Down into turn one we go, back into third gear, running it all the way out to the grass, nice and wide. It's super tight, this infield. Back down to first gear, that's how slow this is. Another first gear corner coming up though, all very, very tight. And it's almost impossible to overtake here in these cars. Finally, you're able to unleash the GTE a little bit again. Back down at the second gear. Just for the traction on the exit, 125 kilometers an hour, minimum speed through there, and back onto the banking. Missing the apex slightly, oversteer on exit. It's not been a perfect lap so far by Marius Zug, but that's not what you need through the first sector there. You just need to hustle it. Up to about 150 kilometers an hour, braking for the chicane nice and early, maybe a bit too early, maybe a bit too safe there from Marius Zug. The exit though, I was going to say nice and tidy, but multiple moments on entry and on exit for Marius Zug. And where does the PS Plus competition driver put himself as we have the run to the line? Keeping it nice and straight. Not running any extra meters. It's centimeters we're talking about here. 154 kilometers an hour across the line. Marius Zug 124.332 puts himself on provisional pole, but Rafael Renova puts himself in front of that on a 124.182. Michiel Haverens, the Sylvie driver, in the Ford. In the 778, just under a tenth behind that. Has he just put himself onto the front row for the main race? Mirko Bortolotti would love to cause an upset there in the Ferrari, which is not the fastest car. But you never know when you load into a server like this, a combination that's never driven. Which car's the fastest? He's got the fastest first sector though, Marco Bortolotti. Nice and tidy. No oversteer like we saw from Marius Zug. Oh, it's just pure power. Not a fastest first sector or a fastest second sector for Mirko Bortolotti. Of course, the personal improvement. This is only lap this session. Nice and tight, keeping it nice and low. Mirko Bortolotti across the line. What does he put down? Can he beat Rafael Renault from 124, 182 to beat? He's not set a lap. Did he get an off track? Did Mirko Bortolotti get an off track and put himself with a lot of work to do in the main race? The race where you get all the points. He's completed 2 laps. We're sure this time round that that was his lap. And Mirko Bortolotti's got no lap for this one. He's going to have to start from the back. Oh, Mirko. Have you put yourself with a lot of work to do there? He's on his 3rd lap. We know for sure now that this is Mirko Bortolotti starting from the back, and with Rafael Renault on pole position, that might as well confirm Michiel Haverens, the silver driver, on the front row of the grid. The 124, 182 just seemed too mighty to beat. Mirko Bortolotti practicing the pit entry. Of course, it's a difficult one here. You really have no reference. And Mirko Bortolotti sensationally will have to start from the back of the field, which will probably be P25. It will be. Rafael Renault could make a massive jump towards the championship in this race. Michiel Haverens in 2nd. The silver driver could do the same. The 2 championship leaders at the front row of the grid in both classes. The front row of the grid is stacked with good drivers. Marius Zug behind it with Niels Langeveld. Also a great 2nd row. Henrik Störa in 5th and 6th. Is Callum Lux. Ivan Ferrari in 7th. Hendrik Augustin in P8. Maximilian Maier in 9th. And Hugo Ropp in P10. Winston Eckel in 11th. And Andrea Frasinetti in P12. P13 is Stratos. P14 is Maximilian Paul. Timo Pitts in P14. Mario Trummer P16. Bernhard Kiberga P17. Lucas Baza P18. P19 is Christian Ablasa. And rounding off the top 20 is Davy Euwema. P21 then is Anton Abe, the rookie driver. Then René Rösler in P22. P23 for Stefano Pellegrino. Christoph Hartels in P24. P25 for Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to have a lot of work to do in this one. I'm expecting him to pit early. Martin Stadtmann in 26th. 27th is Leon Blum. 28 Hugo Zasse. And 29 Jan Lins. Patrick Dangel in 30th. Ben Buhnagel 31st. And Philippe Hugret in P32. Right then, with massive championship stakes for Rafa Renault at the front and Mirko Bortolotti starting P25. This could be a massive swing in the championship. The 5 red lights are on. We're underway at Pocono. Standing start in these GTEs. Not the way they like it. Michiel Haverens with a good one though. But down on the turn 1, the inside, so powerful. Oh, Michiel Haverens runs wide. That opens the door for Marius Zug, who gets through into 2nd. Michiel Haverens does keep 3rd though. Henrik Steurer P4 ahead of Niels Langeveld in 5th. That is how they run out of turn 1. There's already cars going round. And that might be, there's also a Corvette involved in that. Hugo Rob is down to P29. Marco Bortolotti up to P16 already. He's up 9 already. And it might be more soon with all these cars off the track. But it's all happening behind him. Rafael Renault for the Haase. 8/10 gap to Marius Zug already. Michiel Havertz looking to come back at him. That's a little peek into the chicane. The exit though, extremely important. The Ford is known for its straight line speed. The Porsche known for being nimble in the infield. But the slipstream will do its work here for Marius Zug and Michiel Havertz. Down the turn 1, Michiel Havertz dives to the inside. And that forces Marius Zug to take more speed into the corner. Does manage to hold on. But Michiel Havertz, the silver driver, putting pressure on Marius Zug. Could he be someone who next season might be able to challenge for the overall championship? Patrick Dangel, just to be honest, that is largely his own fault. Philippe Augret saw that happening in front of him. Christoph Hatos was also the lucky one to pick up a freebie. I think it might have been Jan Lins who was involved in that. Was it Jan Lins? Very tight off the inside. No, it was the driver behind him. There you go, Winston Eckel, the number 17 was involved in that. Winston Eckel, will he keep it tight? Let's see. Keeps it tight, 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 and there's a car. Yeah, well. Not much Winston Eckel could do there, let's be honest. He can't disappear. Michiel Havertz has now taken a bit of a distance to Marius Zug, allowing him to focus a little bit more on trying to close the gap to Rafael Renhofer. Marco Bortolotti is up into P12 already. He has to make headway here. He can't hang around. Oh, so tight. Henrik Steurer, the driver in front. And Marco Bortolotti knows now into the infield. There's nothing he can do. He'll have to wait. No moves to be made here. And this is painful if you're Marco Bortolotti. Knowing what's at stake, he might pit on this lap to get out of all of this traffic. The drivers in front of you making a mistake is losing you more time. Marco Bortolotti goes for it. Was there contact between him and Henrik Steurer? Was that why he went wide? It didn't look like that. Henrik Steurer, I think, was just scared by the fact that Marco Bortolotti absolutely sent it. But up to P11 he goes. Up 14 positions already. Leon Blum is also up 18. No, there's no contact there. Clean move by Marco Bortolotti, absolute send. Contact! One car wanted to go into the pit lane, that's all in front of Marco Bortolotti. He'll pick up these positions for free. Massive as well for Marco Bortolotti, but more so for Ivan Ferrari, who finds himself in the wall. Was Mario Truma involved in that? It all happens in front of him, I think. Oh, he goes off in the chicane. And this is that battle into pit lane. He wants to come down, doesn't slow down enough, and takes out the Corvette, including the number 13 BMW of Leon Blum. Maximilian Paul was involved in that. It's the innocent and unfortunate Maximilian Paul who got taken out by Ivan Ferrari. Oh, Ivan, you're going to get a massive penalty for that. Yep. Well, What do you say of your Maximilian Paul in that situation? Literally nothing you can do, and your race ends like that. Unbelievable. Mirko Bortolotti, though, for him this is massive. Basically 3 positions for free, and up into P7 he goes. The gap is 9.2 seconds. We know how quick Mirko Bortolotti can be when he is in these situations. And he will stay out as long as he can, run as light as he can, to try and get as many positions as possible. The gap in front of him to the next car for position is just over 2 seconds. Hendrik Augustin, Michiel Haverens, Andrea Frasinetti and Niels Langeveld involved in a 4-car battle for P3. The further they spread out, the better this would be for Mirko Bortolotti. But I'm impressed by Michiel Haverens keeping that car in the top 5. He has some incredible pace in this race, and with that, might be able to seal the silver championship. No way of calculating that. We don't know which rounds he's going to drop. The inside goes Michiel Haverens. There's no apron here. The apron is the grass. There's a slight gap there. Andrea Frasinetti not inviting him to go up the inside, but just leaving just about enough space there for him to put his car inside. And Michiel Haverens does take that opportunity, but the BMW pulling clear in the straight. And with how much air that boat has to push aside, there's contact between the two. Even better for the Italian and Mirko Bortolotti. Everything's working out for him. But Michiel Haverens just a little too eager to get through. I'd like to see the incident because we couldn't see due to the pit build-in and the tires stack into turn 1. Same problem there, but Michiel Haverens maybe on board. We'll see more. Here we go. BMW pulling clear with that better straight line speed. Ford pulls back out of the slipstream. Oh my goodness. I mean, Michiel Haverens pulls to the inside. And it also just looks like the BMW of Andrea Frasinetti, of Hendrik Augustin, excuse me, just also doesn't take him into account of being there. And then the poor Porsche of Hendrik Augustin being involved in it. No, it was Andrea Frasinetti, I'm pretty sure, in the BMW. So Andrea Frasinetti just almost not taking Michiel Haverens into account. He does pull out quite early. There you go. It's a tricky one though, if you see it from the heli shot. Well, this is going to be an interesting one for the stewards. I would say, if it is Michiel Haverens' fault, he did get it. Well, he basically gave himself the penalty there. He has managed to decrease the gap, Mirko Bortolotti, by about 5/10 to Rafael Renhoff. If he could just minimize the damage and even finish P3 here, he at least gives himself a fighting chance again going into next week. We don't know what the drop rounds is going to do to the results either. But both drivers have had quite bad results, and they would drop those, obviously. Hugo Rob, he has come out of pit lane again, then just decides to run wide into turn 1. And let me guess, he decides to park it? He does. Renhoff is under pressure from Mario Suk as well. Can't relax here. He has no clue who's on P5, but I'm sure he's not expecting it to be Mirko Bortolotti. Into pit lane they pull. That's a place to gain time, not really a reference. Oh my goodness, a blacked out helmet for Rafael Renhoff. Comes to a standstill. Mirko Bortolotti is also into pit lane. He's already on pit exit. 6.5 seconds he was stationary for. Rafa Renova was stationary for 2 tenths less. Mirko Bortolotti jumps up into P4 after that pit stop though, right behind Marius Zug and Niels Langeveld. What happened in the pit lane to Marius Zug? He lost about 8 seconds there to Rafael Renova. Questionable on that one. Not fair for Mirko Bortolotti, this is ideal. A P2 would be even better. And it's Niels Langeveld, his teammate up front. I don't think he'll mind it too much. These drivers have been teammates in the past, not anymore though. Niels Langeveld driving for P&D Racing. But I have a feeling he won't make it too difficult for Mirko Bortolotti to pass here. Marius Zug has been quick the whole session, or this whole server. And there's also still chance with a P2 for Mirko Bortolotti to negate that loss to Rafa Renova in the reverse grid race. Marius Zug going defensive on Niels Langeveld. Mirko Bortolotti will look to pull to the inside of Niels Langeveld, and he does so. Mirko Bortolotti reading the situation perfectly, but the Dutchman comes back on the inside. Mirko Bortolotti the long way round. You just can't do that in the infield. It's just too tight for a pass there. And I think by this point it's safe to say Rafa Renova without a mistake will finish P1. But how far up the order can Mirko Bortolotti get? Inside goes Mirko Bortolotti. I think that's a bit of an audacious move, really. You can't really make a move into that chicane. There, Frazinetti is also catching up now due to the fighting they've done in front. Porsche seem to be the car to be in today. As the lapped car gets out of the way perfectly there for the leaders to come through. Oh, Henrik Steurer. Off moment in turn one, probably just a little too late on the brakes. Or if you catch just a tiny bit of that grass, it just pulls you out wide. It's a bit like turn 2 at VIR. Okay, the bumper having a funny moment on Philippe Grant's car. Oh, and around he goes. The bumper still having a funny moment, and he tries to get out of the way. He can't. And that's Christoph Hatos, sadly, finding him on the apex. He sees it happen in front. Oh, okay. Well then. The gap was there where Christoph Hatos went. Philippe Grant just decided not to hold his brakes. I thought he was further forward on the track than he was when that happened, but not the case. Maximilian Paul making further contact with 2 more cars. Up the inside he goes, and Maximilian Paul decides to park it there and call it a day. Rafael Renova still in P2. Mirko Bortolotti did manage to overtake Niels Langeveld. How did he do that? Into turn 1 this time. Just braking later. Straight lining the apex. There's no chance for Niels Langeveld to come back around the outside there. Mirko Bortolotti said, position is mine. And now just 1 more position to go to minimize that damage in terms of points as much as he could. And then it's been a massive, Massively impressive drive from Mirko Bortolotti. Coming from P25 to finish even as it would be in P3 is one of those classic Mirko Bortolotti drives that we know from the past 7 seasons. And even when things go south for Mirko Bortolotti, he just manages somehow to every time pull a rabbit out of a hat. Even if he doesn't have the quickest car in the Ferrari.
Was it express?
What's happened though to Michiel Haverens? The silver leader is not the silver leader anymore. Timo Pitts in P9 is the new silver leader. That could also be massive for the silver championship. To the outside though goes Mirko Bortolotti on Marius Zug. Marius Zug takes turn 1 quite wide there. Straight lining it to the apex and then just running it out to the exit. Mirko Bortolotti was looking for the cutback, but was just a little too far back, it felt like. Didn't time it to perfection. It's a difficult corner to do that at, though. Michiel Haverens, here he is. What's happened to him? Did have that incident, of course, with Andrea Frasinetti. And did that have a big enough consequence before the pit stop to put him behind Timo Pitts after he's made his pit stop? It does look like that. Yeah, this is the moment where that happened. Also damage on the right rear there, probably, for Michiel Haverens. Which is also not great. But he was quite far in front of Timo Pitts at this point. So that must have happened during the pit stop as well. Did he have to take his fast repair after that stop? Or after that incident, having to make 2 pit stops then? But also doesn't seem like the case, because then I think he would be further back. Another 3.5 seconds is the gap between him and Timo Pitts. We have entered the last lap of the race now. Could be crucial. Andrea Frasinetti with a black flag on the last lap of the race. He will drop down the order. He can't serve that anymore. Niels Langeveld has gotten back past Mirko Bortolotti because Marius Zug has dropped back behind him. How did that happen? Mirko Bortolotti to the outside of Marius Zug. Marius Zug goes nice and wide. Here comes the cutback from Mirko Bortolotti. Didn't happen here. Does it happen afterwards? Mirko Bortolotti, where does he see his chance? Nowhere really. It's too far back anywhere to try something. Back to live pictures though. Oh no, here we go. This is that moment. Niels Langeveld up the inside of both of them. The superior straight line speed from that BMW. Look at it. And Mirko Bortolotti for a second thought he had P2. He did not. Across the line though comes Rafa Renova to win the race. There's the slipstream battle between Niels Langeveld and Mirko Bortolotti. There's no chance for Mirko Bortolotti. He's just too far back. Niels Langeveld will win or will take second in front of Mirko Bortolotti by just 0.5 of a second. But the superior straight line speed from that BMW giving Niels Langeveld a second place there. Mirko Bortolotti will take a third though from P25. He'll be very, very happy with that. But knowing what would have been possible, I think he would have liked the second place as well. Jan Mins coming through to finish P15. And Michiel Haverens will finish second only in the silver class. All right then, that was the main race, and we'll go through the top 20 because that will be your reversed order. Well, we'll do all of them actually, because all the rest will stay the same in the next race. We'll just go over the top 20 on the grid. Rafael Renhofer takes a massive step back ahead of Mirko Bortolotti, as I finally learned how to pronounce that. Niels Langeveld in second ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. That's your podium. And boy, was it close at the finish. Just 44 thousandths of a second between Niels Langeveld and Mirko Bortolotti. Are a second close finish of the evening for P2. Marius Zuk in fourth. Hendrik Augustin in fifth. Leon Blum in sixth. Seventh, Timo Pitst. And Hendrik Steur rather in P8. Anton Abe ninth. And Hugo Zasse P10. Michiel Haverens finishes P11. Mario Truma P12. That's your podium as well in the silver class. Timo Pitst winning ahead of Michiel Haverens in second. And Mario Truma in third. Jan Lins fourth in the silver class, but 14th overall, behind Winston Eckel 13th. Then Stratos in P15, Stefano Pellegrino in 16th, Maximilian Maya 17th, 18th is Lucas Baza, Davy Uema in 19th, and Bernhard G. Berger in P20. Then 21st is Andrea Frasinetti, Christoph Hartos in P22, Christian Ablasa in P23, Maarten Stadman in P24, and René Reusla in P25. The drivers a lap or more down. Patrick Dangel, Ben Buurnagel, Maximilian Paul, Philip Ugrijp, Callum Lux, Sukorop, and Ivan Ferrari. Phew, a little bit of time to rest now. It's a 3-minute warm-up or cool-down session for some drivers. Well, here we go then. Let's go over the top 20 for the reversed grid race, the reverse top 20. Bernhard Geberger will start on pole ahead of Davy Uema, a full silver front row of the grid. Third place, also a silver driver, Lucas Baza, Maximilian Maya in fourth, ahead of Stefano Pellegrino in fifth. And Stratos, my bid for the victory in this race in P6. Jan Lins in P7, Winston Eckel in P8, Mario Truma P9, and Michiel Haverens in P10, looking for revenge. Hugo Zasse, P11, Anton Abe in P12. P13 for Hendrik Steur, P14 for Timo Pitts, 15 for Leon Blum, 16 for Hendrik Augustin, 17 for Marius Zuk, Mirko Bortolotti in P18, Niels Langeveld in P19, and Rafael Renhofer in P20. Can Mirko Bortolotti look for revenge? We'll know in about 5 lights time when the race gets underway. Bernhard Geberger from the front row of the grid together with Maximilian Maya. They're overtaken almost immediately. Stefano Pellegrino up the inside he goes in the Ferrari. Mega start, but the Porsche of Maximilian Maya will swoop up the inside and go up into the lead. Jan Lins has had an incident already. He's dropped down the order. Timo Pitts, same thing goes for him. Maximilian Maya, though, has taken the lead. Mario Truma dropping down the order. Michiel Haverens, who's up to Anton Abe. Maximilian Maya with about a 9/10 gap to Stefano Pellegrino. 3 silver drivers as a buffer to Maximilian Maya. Stratos now behind Winston Eckel. Maximilian Maya though, almost pulling clear by a second. Mirko Bortolotti finds himself in P14. Most crucially though, still ahead of Rafael Renhofer. Taking it nice and easy this time around, Mirko Bortolotti. Not taking any prisoners. Some people pit on lap 1 already. Lucas Baza, Anton Abe, Rafael Renhofer pitting early. Will that work out for those two is the question. Down at the turn 1. Sweet drop behind the gazebos. Michiel Havrens up ahead in the only Ford in the session. Maximilian Maya, the rookie, has about a 1.5 second gap to Bernhard Giberga. What a crown on the season it would be for him if he could finish there. He's been able to stay out of trouble quite well so far this season. Stratos, my bit further in, is dropping down the order. Faster than a stone in a pond. And Mirko Bortolotti up to P10. It's crucial that he makes the most out of his overtakes here with last lap. The competition already pitting. As I look at Rafael Renhofer, he finds himself in P25, but already having made a pit stop. Lucas Baza is ahead of Rafael Renhofer after the pit stops though. Stratos pulls into the pit lane, Hendrik Augustin, Maximilian Paul, Martin Stadtmann, all 4 drivers into pit lane. 3 wide though into turn 1. Andrea Frasinetti once again involved in it, and once again there's contact into turn 1, and once again Andrea Frasinetti has to go off. Andrea Frasinetti down to P13 there. Winston Eckel up into 4th. He is about 3.2 seconds back on the lead. Bernhard Giberga finding his feet in the GTEs here at Pocono. At a very bumpy Pocono. He's keeping the gap quite stable to Maximilian Maya up ahead, 1.4 seconds. With Mirko Bortolotti charging hard behind Michiel Havrens, next one to overtake. A bit of a moment there for Michiel Havrens. Might provide a chance for Mirko Bortolotti down in the turn 1. Rafael Renhofer after that pit stop. Now the best driver to do so. Lucas Baza has been overtaken. Mirko Bortolotti not going into pit lane. He will stay out, but he'll take as much slipstream as possible from Michiel Havrens. Like I said, that moment on the exit of the chicane gave him the opportunity. And he's taken full advantage of that. Michiel Havrens taking the extreme wide line in the turn 1. And I have a feeling that was not quite on purpose. Carried just a little too much speed. We'll now try to follow the reigning champion through the field. But an impressive drive already from Mirko Bortolotti today, having to come back from P25 in the main race to P3. Showing that coming through the field is certainly something he can do. Leon Blum, next one up ahead from Mirko Bortolotti. Henrik Steurer and Andrea Frasinetti. Not the first incident Andrea Frasinetti has been involved in today. 2 of them, not completely his fault, I would say. And that one isn't the fault of Ben Buhnagel either. Mario Trumma going round. And that's on the brakes. I think just locking the rears. Jan Lins, this is what happened to him. And off he goes into a Benz. It's a new one. Bortolotti has gotten past. No, he's not. A couple of drivers have once again pulled into pit lane. Leon Blum is the next one to get past. But Bernhard Geberger still in P2. And the longer he stays there, the better his chances become. Winston Eckel dropping back slightly compared to Maximilian Maya now, who's starting to stretch his legs in that Porsche. He's found his feet. He's getting more and more comfortable. A little bit of a slower pit stop this time around for Rafael Renova. 7.1 seconds stationary this time. It's also a bit of a longer race, so more fuel to be taken on board. So I don't think that's a completely unreasonable pit stop time, but we see Mario Struk, 6.8 seconds. It's a free 3/10 you gain there. Rafael Renova does have the fastest lap of the race, 1:23.459. Bernhard Geberger pulling into pit lane now. Where does he come out? Rafael Renova is who we need to look at. He's quite far back still. Bernhard Geberger still not stationary though. There you go. Now he is. There comes Rafael Renova. He will now be released. No, he's much longer stationary than Rafael Renova has been. He will have a shorter run to turn 1, but that second will cost him dearly. That's now already down to a virtual P3, and then still Maximilian Maya and Winston Eckel to pit. Down to P5, still not a bad result for him. Still in the lead of the silver class, but not the podium he was hoping for, maybe. .3 seconds is the gap from Winston Eckel to Maximilian Maya. I'm expecting these guys to stay out as long as they can. And another car pulls out in front of Mirko Bortolotti. Leon Blum into the pits this time round. Important to know where he will come out in respect to Rafael Renova, to see where Mirko Bortolotti would come out in respect to him. Remember, he pitted out in front of Mirko Bortolotti. But so did Bernhard Geberger, and he is quite a bit behind Rafael Renova. He was stationary for longer than needed though. Mario Trumma with a spin. Leon Blum. Here is Rafael Renova. He's going to be right there with him. Oh, it's going to be tight if Mirko Bortolotti is going to make a pit stop now. He's also going to come out behind Rafael Renova, because that was a good pit stop by Leon Blum. Stationary 2/10 shorter. Or 2/10 less than Rafael Renova. And still he didn't come out ahead. Mirko Bortolotti needs 100% pace here. And he can't, because Winston Eckel is right there in front of him. It'll help with slipstream quite a bit. Oh, Winston Eckel touching the wall. That will kill his momentum as well. Mirko Bortolotti will pull to the outside. Winston Eckel will defend for all he's worth. But he will go into pit lane. Braking nice and early. Oh, big look up there. Mirko Bortolotti's gotten a black flag for speeding on pit lane. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Mirko Bortolotti taking too much risk. I thought Winston Eckel was speeding and overshooting his box. It's just gone from bad to worse from Mirko Bortolotti in this session. This is one to forget. Mirko Bortolotti with a penalty on pit lane. He will drop all the way down the order. And with Rafael Renova potentially taking the lead of this race. No, it's Maximilian Maya in P1, but Rafael Renova in P2. I can't believe it. Mirko Bortolotti out of the top 20. He will take 0 points from this race, and it's all down to himself. A black flag for speeding on the pits. That'll be done in about 6 seconds, I guess about now. Mirko Bortolotti, what did you do to yourself? The pressure was on from Rafael Renova, especially after qualifying. And with that pressure came cracks from Mirko Bortolotti. This season so far has been a little bit more chaotic from Mirko's side than maybe what we're used to in the previous 7 seasons. And Rafael Renova has been there to capitalize from that. It's not over. That's for sure. 2 servers still to run next week, and everything could swing in the favor of Mirko Bortolotti. He'll go in with a fighting chance. But this could be a massive chance for Rafael Renova. And for the first time this season, we see the Italian retire from a server. Mirko, I can't believe it. And I think neither can he. My goodness, Maximilian Paul just... Oh my goodness. Into turn 1. Way too late on the brakes. I also think he did... Oh my goodness, Maximilian Paul runs way too wide. Frustrations ramping up for Maximilian Paul in this server. And this evening, it's not been an evening to remember for him. And that's not all down to himself. He just runs off track. And Philippe Hugres sadly finds him because he ran wide. Unfortunate turn of events there for both drivers, but Maximilian Paul once again off. And also Maximilian Paul, who retired from this server as well in the second race. Oh my goodness. 7 minutes left for Rafael Renova to do even more damage to that championship. With Maximilian Mayer just 2.5 seconds up ahead. The question also is, let's be honest, if you're Rafael Renova here, are you going to take the risk knowing that Mirko Bortolotti is out of this one? Going around the outside is Davy Eoma on Henrik Störer. He doesn't quite manage, ran a bit too wide. But Davy Eoma with good pace as well in the GTEs. Up the inside though goes Timo Pitts. Optimistic driving from the German, and well, up the inside and a clean move from Tim. Optimistic driving, and it's paying off. Niels Langeveld, he's been quick in these GTEs. A second place in the first race and looking for another top 5 here. Did Winston Eckel drop down to P8? I think he would, or I thought he would be a bit higher up with the pace he showed in that short run before the pit stop. But Winston Eckel down in P8 was P2 when we pitted. Did he have a moment around the outside of the 13 of Leon Blum, and that is just too quick into there, Winston. And that is where he has lost all those positions. Dropped behind Bernhard Geberger at that time. And he still is. Oh, contact between Anton Abe. And which racing number is that? We can't see. Well, Callum Lux, I don't know how long he had to react to that. But just completely running into Hendrik Augustin. Don't know if you can go on board with Callum Lux here. All right, you see a car spinning. Okay, interesting. I would have gone off first of all to the right-hand side there, Callum, if I was you next time, and I'd hit the brakes if I see a car spinning in front, or at least lift and be ready to hit the brakes. There are yellow flags out there for a reason. Winston Eckel. Under pressure from Hugo Zasse. And Martin Stadtmann in the BMW. Maximilian Maya so far unchallenged by Rafael Rennhofer. He is gaining, but not quick enough. The question is, can he get into that slipstream range? Because then his lap time will take a tumble. Martin Stadtmann going for the overtake on Hugo Zasse. This is slowing both of them down and giving Winston Eckel a bit more breathing room up front. Stratos up into P10, has been able to get back up into the top 10. Expected, to be honest, a bit more pace from Stratos. But top 10, 12 seconds behind the leader, not too bad at all. Off the track goes Dave Jeuema. It's Martin Stadtmann now, behind Stratos. What's happened between him and Hugo Zasse then? Because it was Martin Stadtmann behind Hugo Zasse not too long ago. Anton Abe also with a black flag with just 2.5 minutes to go. Go with another mistake. That one a little less costly though, just a tiny bit wide. Not losing too much time with that. Martin Stadtmann also off into turn 2 and turn 3 after that. Oh, Maximilian Maya, Rafael Rennhofer, 0.8 of a second the gap. I told you, if he can get into slipstream, his lap time will take a tumble, and he's done that just 1 lap before the last lap. Turn 1 would be the best overtaking opportunity, I fear. He's just a little too far back for that though. 7/10, the gap is coming down due to that slipstream. Maximilian Maya has broken the slipstream, has moved twice, needs to stay where he is now. And down at the turn 1, he takes another 2/10 out of him. This is going to be extremely close on the run down to the finish line. This is not a place where you can overtake. However, Mirko Bortolotti did do it onto the banking. One more left-hander. And then we go onto the banking again with the right-hander. That's where Mirko Bortolotti made that overtake. Keeping it nice and tight. This is where Mirko Bortolotti made that overtake. He can't quite. Takes a couple more tenths out of Maximilian Maya though. He will get the slipstream all the way from here into the chicane to close up nice and tight onto the rear bumper of Maximilian Maya to try and get the run onto the start-finish straight. Maximum risk here for Rafael Rennhofer. This exit needs to be perfect, and I think he's too far back. 3/10 back, I think that's too much. Rafael Rennhofer will start again. That slipstream will start to work. They'll turn onto the start-finish straight. 2/10 is the gap. Both in Porsches. Straight line speed performance will be the same. Rafael Rennhofer will pull out of the slipstream, but the line will come up too early, I fear. Oh, just too early for Rafael Rennhofer. 22,000 of a second. But Maximilian Maya is a winner in the W12 Sprint Series. The rookie does it in week number 6, server number 2. Maximilian Maya drove a mega race and timed that to perfection. The exit so crucially important. out of the chicane. And with that, Mirko Bortolotti will thank him. Because that's just a couple of points less that he loses to Rafael Renoff after this race. But he will be fuming with himself, Mirko Bortolotti. It is a difficult pit lane entry, so extremely difficult without a reference. But to be honest, I thought that, well, Winston Eckel locking up the brakes would get the penalty and not Mirko Bortolotti. It looked like Mirko Bortolotti was down on speed even more than Winston Eckel was. But for some reason, maybe a K or 2 difference between the two, Mirko Bortolotti got the penalty, Winston Eckel didn't. Unfortunate for him. And oh boy, does that have consequences going into next week. Oh no, not next week. Next week, oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, there's no race. No racing action from the W12 Sprint Series. We will be back on the 15th of December with the last rounds of the season. But let's pull our winner, Maximilian Maya, into the commentary booth. It was a drag race to the line with Rafael Renoff, but in the end it was 22 thousandths of a second the difference. Maximilian Maya, a W12 Sprint Series winner. How does that sound to you?
Wow, amazing guys. Last week I was here and was telling you guys I want to win a race this season. And now we're here. I mean, it was a reverse grid and I had a good position, but still, it wasn't easy against Rafael.
It for sure wasn't, and he put it to you all the way to the checkered flag. Were you holding your breath, be honest with us, to the checkered flag there?
Yeah, well, I knew that after the pit stop I had like around 4 seconds, or I think, or no, 3, something around that as a gap. But I had a big lockup coming into the pits, and I knew on the GTE tire model, it's not good. They won't recover, and I was feeling them the last 2 or 3 laps, like the tires were really bad there. And I was just hoping to, man, when is this race gonna end? But yeah, I think I timed it perfectly.
Oh yeah, well, you did. It ended just about in time. I think that race didn't need to be 10 meters longer, because I think you would have lost it with the amount of slipstream and overspeed that, well, Rafa Renoff was coming through with. But just take us through that race. Were there any moments in that race where maybe you could have taken a little bit more time, or where you wouldn't have lost as many or as much time as maybe you did, and maybe you would have minimized the slipstream that he would have had? Were there any moments where you thought, okay, I might lose this race here?
Yeah, I had like 2 things I think I would have improved in hindsight. Like the first one, I had a moment in T1 where I braked a tiny bit too late and touched the grass on the outside and had a bit of a snap, which lost me, I think, around half a second. Without it, I don't think Rafael would have got me in the slipstream. At least it wouldn't have been that close. And at the end of the day, I fueled the lap too much because my fuel calc wasn't thinking that we didn't get the extra lap, so it was pretty close, I think. Also with the time at the end to get another lap, so could have saved a bit on the pit stop as well.
Well, I would say sack the engineer. No, Maxi. First race, of course, didn't go exactly to plan. That's why you started as far up the order as you did for the reverse grid race. Where did that go wrong?
Yeah, I had the same issue as in Knockhill in the first race, where suddenly my wheel decided to disconnect on the start. Like, I think it was something between the Fanatec app and SimHub that crashed, and so I had no inputs. Luckily, I was fast enough to go back to the pit, so no one was, like, hampered by it. But yeah, my race was pretty much done at that point.
Well, Maximilian Maya, you're a W12 Series race winner. And oh boy, does that sound good to you. Well, Maxi, congratulations with it. And hopefully we'll see you back next week and you win some more races.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Maximilian Maya, race winner in server number 2 in the reverse grid race. In that reverse grid race, though, Leon Bloom finishes in P3. Leon, good evening. A pretty good race from your side, I would say, in the reverse grid race, P3.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was really exhausting. Had like 1 lap after pit stop. I got my 11th incident. So I was really sweating the last laps.
I can imagine that. Well, the reverse grid race, yeah, you had to come from far back as well. I think you together with Rafael Renhoff and Niels Langeveld are one of the drivers who gained more than 10 positions in this race. Just tell us how that drive was back through the field.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, it started that I had a qualifying ban for that server. So I wasn't be able to qualify for the first race. So I started out at P27. Managed to get until P8 or something after 3 laps. Then got wrecked on the straight. And even were able to finish on P6 in the first race. Yeah, and then the second race was pace-wise a bit more relaxed. And yeah, clean to the end then at the last laps.
Leon, next week, or not next week, I made that mistake about 5 times already this evening. In 2 weeks' time, the last rounds of the championship. What is the goal for you with your position at the moment in the championship in mind? Top 10?
To be honest, just have clean races. The first half of the season I was really bad in qualifying. Fucked up pretty much the half of the laps, and then yeah, it was difficult to coming from such far back. I mean, sadly the lap here in that server would have been enough for, let's say, the top 3 in qualifying. So it was really a shame. Yeah, and just the last laps, the last 2 races, just having fun, stay clean, and then let's see what's possible in the championship at the end.
Well, I think, Leon, all that bad qualifying you've had, having to come back to the field, prepared you for today to take the result you did. P3 for you in the end, the podium. Go and enjoy it, Leon, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much. See you.
Leon Bloom, 3rd place finisher in the reverse grid race in server number 2. Those were all the interviews, sadly. All the other drivers seem to be scared of us, Demon. But we won't mind for tonight. That means we have an early end to the stream. Thank you all very much at home for watching. We hope you're back in 2 weeks' time. Next week, keep in mind, no racing for the W12 Sprint Series. We'll be back the 15th of December. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.